All right, folks, how's it going? I'm sure everybody is really excited about this extended maintenance as we wait for 10.0 to drop. Um, Definitely looking forward to Dragonflight. Hopefully, this isn't a sign of things to come, but ultimately, hey, look at this artwork. That's fantastic in the background. The intro music, as usual, is fantastic, but while we wait for all this fun, we're going to talk tier lists a little bit. For those of you who have checked out any of my vids, I have been maining through Season 4 my Prot Warrior, and that's where we're going to start with this list. Prot is going firmly in the A tier. I'll put this disclaimer right now. I am strictly doing ranking based on fun. I play absolutely all of these tanks to different degrees of difficulty, so we'll just kind of see how the season really kind of plays out here. Prot really going to maintain its fantastic playstyle. If you've looked at the talent tree for Prot, this is probably going to take that approach that we've had in the past and make it even more satisfying. I can't overstate this. Prot is in a fantastic spot. It's only going to get better. There's a little bit of debate around the talent tree, how it's set up, if you go get Shockwave or not. I really wouldn't worry about it. The way that the tree is set up with multiple viable paths, you're going to have fun either way and be able to push pretty competitive in just about all content. Prot Warrior for the win. Now, my other protection brother from another mother, not quite as sexy as where we were. So I'm going to put Prot Paladin down here in the B tier. I'll tell you why. I actually found that with some of the changes that came specifically with Dragonflight for Prot Paladin, I was a little disappointed. The decision, I suppose, to take away Avenging Wrath as a holy generator really kind of knocks down some of the DPS here. However, if you play around with the tree, you're still going to be able to put up pretty solid overall damage. What I have noticed, though, is that we've kind of taken Prot Pal and brought it into a weird spot. It's not going to be great at Mythic Plus. It's not going to be great at rating. Definitely viable for both, though. So I think it's going to be a ton of fun from what I've trialed so far. I really appreciate that we're carrying over a few of our abilities from Shadowlands, and I actually think it's going to make Prot Pal actually really satisfying as we get into seasons 2 and 3, based on, well, ultimately what the talent tree is looking like, assuming there's no major reworks at this time. Now, something I'm a little, I'll say, bummed about is this big hairy guy. So Guardian Druid has been pushed around a lot. I actually thought we would see Guardian pushed up and go into Dragonflight in like an A tier. Ultimately, Blizzard's decided that this needs a bit of a rework. We need to start to associate druids with more of like an astral theme, or like I play a Night Fae druid for the most part, although I've got a Zandalari one as well. And ultimately, we're trying to go with this like astral or moon association. Kind of a weird setup how it's going to be set up. Ultimately, Blizz wants Guardian to be the intro tank class, and that's all right. In fact, like, I don't mind having hybrids lower on the list, and that's because I've played specs that you can only be ranged DPS like a mage, or you can only be melee DPS like a rogue, and it's really punishing when we talk about queues. You're trying to get into different groups, so I can live with having a class down here. If it's got to be Guardian, I suppose. I hate to put my big weird bear down here, but we'll lock him down there for the moment. Now, where we're going next, we're going back to Blood DK. Now, Blood DK absolutely just owned Mythic Plus and rating for the most part as well in Shadowlands Season 4. Ultimately, we are going to see some of the bonuses from our legendaries and the tier bonus shrink down a little bit. So the DPS is going to decrease, but overall, this class isn't going to feel like it's getting knocked down that much. I still think it's going to be A tier. I actually think it's probably somewhere in between Prop Warrior and Prop Paladin. I call it a B and a half or B plus, but totally viable, ton of fun. I'm really interested to actually bring Gorfreen's Grasp and a few other abilities here. The Blood Talent Tree is a ton of fun. So we're creeping down on our list. Up next, I was on the fence. I'm actually going to throw this on B tier as well. So Brewmaster. Brewmaster retains a ton of viability, like arguably up there with as mobile as Vengeance. But for me personally, Stagger isn't quite what it used to be, but our utility is a lot better. So overall, I still find Brewmaster really satisfying and fun. Probably wouldn't take it ahead of my Prop Warrior, but definitely it's in the competition here whether I'm going to take it ahead of my Prop Pal or not. Yeah, overall, like no complaints. The real benefit when you do take Brewmaster or any monk, you are getting that broader group buff and be able to get that increased melee damage. And we'll take any kind of bonuses to physical we can. So finally, if you've been able to count to 6, you're saying, Adam, there's only 5 tanks here. How are we going to clean this up? Well, there has to be one S tier, and I really cannot picture for Season 1 or 10.0 in Dragonflight anything that's going to be ahead of the Vengeance Demon Hunter. It's in a absolutely fantastic spot. Super enjoyable. The talent tree, I totally thought we were going to have all the talents ripped away in the last week or two here and have a completely reworked tree. That didn't happen. Ultimately, like the critique on Vengeance is incredibly minor. It's probably one of the more mobile tanks. Like it definitely wins any kind of kiting competition that exists out there. But its survivability is way, way up. And then in addition, it's bringing like group silences. It's bringing all kinds of crowd control benefits. I don't know. For me personally, whether it's the Fiery Brand build, whether you want to play around with Spirit Bomb, there's all kinds of really creative and fun ways you can take your Vengeance Demon Hunter. So I'm probably leaning like I'm going to main Vengeance going out here, but we'll have to see. Ultimately, that's what these tier lists are for. 1, help us decide what's fun. 2, it's good to debate something. So let me know down in the comments what I'm completely out to lunch on, what I missed the mark on, why I didn't go percentage point by percentage point talking about the recent buffs and nerfs and everything in between. Hit me with the feedback down below. We'll talk to y'all soon. Thanks for watching, folks. Peace.